At the very end of an old lane in Varanasi stood a dilapidated mud house, where an old fisherman named Ramnath was counting his last breaths. He would cast his net into the Ganga, and whatever he caught, he would sell to secure 2 meals a day. Something similar happened that day. As the tired and weary Ramnath returned home in the evening, his heart seemed to stop for a moment as he opened the door. Lying on his bed was an innocent, delicate girl. Her complexion was as fair as moonlight, her eyes deep, and her age barely 18. Ramnath's voice trembled. "Who are you? What are you doing in my house? This is my bed. Have you no shame?" The girl sat up in fear. There was a strange simplicity and terror in her eyes. "You don't have to say anything to me now," she whispered. "You will know everything when the time comes. Just let me stay with you." Ramnath became agitated. "What nonsense are you spouting? I don't know you. I have no relation with you. You are a young girl, and I am an 80-year-old man. This is impossible. Get out of my house." Tears welled up in the girl's eyes. She immediately prostrated herself at his feet. "I will do whatever you say. Just let me stay here. I will do all your work." Ramnath's hardened heart slowly began to soften, but he was still in doubt. "I am a poor fisherman. I barely manage to feed myself. What will I feed you?" The girl looked at him with a steady gaze. "Just say yes. Everything will take care of itself." Ramnath sighed and said in a tired voice, "All right, stay." But his words remained incomplete because the girl put forth another strange condition. "But first, you have to marry me." Hearing this, Ramnath became as still as stone. "What did you say? Marry? Between you and me? Are you in your senses?" The girl did not laugh. She merely said in a voice full of sorrow, "Yes, you have to marry me, and today itself." This whole situation was beyond Ramnath's comprehension. A very beautiful girl whom he didn't even know wanted to marry him. After much thought, Ramnath agreed. And then, in a corner of that humble mud house, an old fisherman and a mysterious young girl, Ramnath and Radha, became bound in an unbreakable bond. That night, Ramnath tried to sleep for a long time, but each time the same question kept swirling in his mind. Who is this girl? Why has she entered my life? Ramnath sat quietly watching Radha. There was no joy in this marriage for him, no hope. Only an incomparable wonder churned his heart. Is this not a dream? He thought to himself. A new dawn by the Ganga. The first light of morning had not yet fully descended upon the earth. Ramnath prepared his small boat. When he reached the door, a voice came from behind. "Going fishing?" Ramnath turned around. Radha was standing there, with that mysterious stillness in her eyes. "Yes," he said in a dry tone, "but I don't know what's written in my fate." Radha shook her head and softly murmured, "Put your trust in God. Everything will be fine." Ramnath gave no further reply and headed towards the Ganga. But that day, how could he fish? His thoughts were consumed by only one name, Radha. He was 80 years old, his body was tired, and his mind was restless. Every time he cast his net into the Ganga, the same questions revolved in his mind. Who is that girl? Why did she marry him? And are her intentions truly sincere? After several hours of casting his net, nothing was caught. Evening began to fall, and the waves of the Ganga seemed to sympathize with his weariness. When the tired and exhausted Ramnath returned home, he saw Radha standing at the door, her eyes filled with hope. "Did you bring fish?" Ramnath's face fell. Nothing came. Radha did not complain, she did not taunt, she simply smiled. "Never mind, I will share my hunger with you. That's what marriage means, isn't it?" That night, neither of them ate anything. The stove remained cold. Silence filled the house. But Radha remained still, like a light, as if knowing everything, silently enduring all the pain. Unwavering faith amidst hardship. The next morning, Ramnath set off towards the Ganga again, but his mind was even heavier now. Is this girl really sincere? Or is this some trick? Perhaps I've fallen victim to a grand deception. That day, finally, a fish was caught in his net. He did not smile. He just returned exhausted. Upon reaching home, Radha took the fish and said with a smile, "Wait a moment, I'm cooking it." But after a while, she returned. There was nothing in the kitchen, no salt, oil, or spices. Ramnath said in a tired voice, "I told you I have nothing. Whatever fish I catch, I just roast it on coal and eat it." Radha did not complain. She did not taunt. She immediately placed the fish on the coals. A little while later, they both ate half a fish each. Ramnath ate, but the burden on his mind had only increased. Finally, he asked the same question again. "Radha, now tell me, who are you? Because by marrying me—" Radha took a deep breath. Tears welled up in her eyes. "Just a little more patience, Ramnath. You will understand everything very soon. And then every question you have, every pain will all vanish." That night, Ramnath could not sleep. The next morning, when he returned from the Ganga, his life seemed to stop. There was silence in the house. Radha was nowhere to be found. He ran here and there, calling out, but no answer came. And then his eyes fell upon that old yeller trunk, the trunk he hadn't opened for many years, where his mother's last memory, a pair of golden earrings, was kept. The ground slipped from under his feet. No, this cannot be. His head spun and he sat down on the ground. Was Radha a thief? She took advantage of my mother's memory. She took away that last memory of my mother. In this state of shock, he rushed to his old friend Shamsunder. Shamsunder listened to everything and said, "Now there is only one way. Let's go to the queen. She will surely do justice." And then a new hope stirred in Ramnath's heart. An old fisherman's plea in the queen's court. Through the stony lanes of Varanasi, Ramnath walked towards the high mound where the queen of Varanasi's grand palace stood. The air was cold, and his trembling hands still clutched that old trunk, the same trunk where his mother's keepsake, the golden earrings, was kept. At the palace gate, two soldiers stood with long swords. Ramnath stopped before them and said in a slow, tired voice, "I need to see the queen. It's very urgent." One soldier looked him up and down and laughed. "The queen? A destitute old man like you? Go away from here." But just then, the other soldier said, "Wait, the queen has opened the court for common people." After some questioning, Ramnath was allowed inside the palace. The sight inside the palace was no less than a dream for him. High domes, red carpets spread on the floor, shining mirrors on the walls, and the light of thousands of lamps. In the center was a high throne, upon which sat the queen of Varanasi. Her face was covered with a mask. Only her deep, steady eyes were visible. The court vizier called out in a loud voice, "Ramnath bin Raghunath, present your case before the queen." Ramnath slowly approached. His voice was heavy, but unbroken. "Your Majesty, I am an old fisherman. 2 days ago, a girl came to my house, young, beautiful, but she insisted on marrying me. I refused many times, but she didn't listen. The marriage took place, and then 2 days later, she disappeared with my mother's last keepsake, the golden earrings." The entire court remained silent. The queen thought in silence for a moment. Then she asked, "What do you want now, old fisherman?" "Justice. I want my mother's memory back. I cannot exchange it for anything else." The queen's voice was gentle, but her face was still covered with the mask. "If I give you double the gold in exchange for that jewelry, will you accept it?" Ramnath did not delay even a moment in answering. "No. I only want that keepsake. It was my mother's last identity." The queen remained silent for a while. Then she said, "Your words will be given serious consideration. The court is adjourned today. You wait outside." Ramnath wanted to say something, but the guards gestured him out. He was given a small room in the outer part of the palace. The queen did not allow common people to spend the night in the palace. Ramnath could not sleep that night.
Unveiling the mystery, the Queen's secret meeting. The next morning, the court reconvened. Ramnath was called again. This time, the atmosphere of the court was different from before. There were fewer people. The Queen was seated on her throne, but today, along with her mask, there was a deep mystery on her face. The vizier said, "Her Majesty, the Queen, has decided that a private audience will be granted to you today." Ramnath startled. "With me alone?" "Yes, but everything will happen by tomorrow, and until then, you will remain in the palace." Ramnath was preparing to meet the Queen.
The queen was seated in the same posture, her face still covered with the mask. Ramnath said in a low, trembling voice, "Indeed, Your Majesty, I have come before you with my head bowed, seeking justice. You have summoned me for a private meeting. You have shown such respect to this old man. What is the real mystery behind this, and how did you know my name?" The queen rose and walked a few steps towards the trunk, where the golden earrings, Ramnath's mother's last keepsake, were kept. Ramnath was stunned to see the trunk. "This trunk contains my mother's jewelry. How did it come to you? Have you found the thief so quickly? I admit, you are truly a just queen. Where is that female thief? From whom did you get my mother's last keepsake? My final request is this. Let me meet her. I want to ask her why she did such a thing." The queen put the trunk back in its original place. Ramnath said, "What are you doing? This is a keepsake. Why did you take it back?" The queen said, "To know the answer, you will have to stay here one more day. Tomorrow you will get all your answers in the Divan public audience hall." Ramnath was happy to get his mother's lost jewelry back. Now he was in another dilemma. What will happen tomorrow? Will I get the answers to my questions tomorrow? Confronting the truth, Radha revealed as the queen. The next morning, Ramnath was present in the Divan. The queen's voice echoed, slow yet authoritative. "What do you want now?" "Justice. Return my mother's last keepsake. It was the reason for my life." The queen looked at him in silence for a while, her eyes visible from behind the mask. Then she slowly removed her mask, and Ramnath's senses reeled. That face, those eyes, that smile, it was none other than Radha. Ramnath's legs trembled, his eyes widened in disbelief. "Radha, what is this mystery? You are the queen." The entire court fell silent. The queen, that is Radha, rose from her high throne and slowly approached Ramnath. "Yes, I am Radha. But why did you marry me? Why did you do all this to me?" Radha's eyes welled up. The truth, hidden for so long, was now time to be told. Who was Radha truly? Why did she marry Ramnath? What was the mystery of her life? And how was her past tied to 20 years ago? Radha began to speak. A small girl was left alone on the banks of the Ganga. An old fisherman saw her, saved her life, and then sent her to an orphanage. You might not remember that time, but that little girl was me, and that old fisherman was you, Ramnath. If you hadn't picked me up from there that day, I wouldn't have survived. I was raised in the orphanage, educated, and slowly my fortune began to change. A wealthy old man adopted me, and when he died, he left me all his property. But there was one deficiency in all this property, a burden of debt. She paused and took a deep breath. A burden of debt, your debt, Ramnath. You saved me at a time when I was just a burden on this earth. I could have given you some gold, some land, but that wouldn't have been enough. Tears streamed down Ramnath's face. "But why did you marry me?" "Because if I had come simply as a girl, you wouldn't have kept me in your house. Your self-respect would have been hurt. But after marriage, as a wife, I could stay in your house. I could serve you. I knew your condition was very bad, and I had to repay that debt at any cost. And your mother's keepsake, I only took it to call you here, because I wanted you to see with your own eyes one day what the child you saved has become today, and I have never forgotten the debt of your kindness." Ramnath's expression had now changed. "I never thought that my small help would change someone's life." "Not help, Ramnath. It was your compassion, your generosity which has today become the identity of my soul." The child whom he had once found almost dead on the banks of the Ganga was now standing before him as his protector. But now there was a crown on her brow, and the power to change the world in her eyes. Radha slowly took Ramnath's hand. Ramnath bowed his head. "But now you are the queen, and I am just a poor fisherman." Radha smiled and said, "You gave me a name. You gave me life. And one who gives life becomes not just a relationship, but the whole world. I may be the queen, but now I'm only yours." The people in the court now looked at Ramnath, who was an old fisherman. "I will not let you be alone now, Radha. A part of this palace will be yours, all happiness will be yours, every evening will be your story. Now I will take care of you." Ramnath's face bore a tired smile, a smile that is only born after many years of suffering. He sighed, as if the burden on his chest had finally lifted. Truth always brings a new light to a story. Those who face the truth are truly honored. See you next time.